When we go to the grocery store, we're bombarded by fancy packaging and great marketing. Things sound so good and even good for you, but are they really? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Auriel, and here on this channel I talk about all things holistic health and wellness. And one of the most life-changing habits that I've adopted to improve my nutrition and overall health is learning to read labels and avoiding certain ingredients that have been proven to be unhealthy or even dangerous to consume. In this video, I'm sharing 5 ingredients that you want to look out for and try to avoid when you're buying your groceries. Of course, it's not going to be possible 100% of the time, but I do believe that knowledge is power, and as consumers, we need to know what we're buying so we can make informed decisions. We cannot rely on food companies to have our best interests at heart. They're trying to make as much money as they can, and it's sad to say, but our health and wellness is not their top priority. So with all that being said, grab a notepad or your notes app because you're going to want to remember this on your next grocery trip. And let's get into it. Okay, so the first ingredient that I always try to avoid is refined oils. So that includes oils like canola oil, sunflower oil, safflower oil, corn oil, just regular old vegetable oil. All of those are actually not healthy, as surprising as that might be to hear, because I know that they are in so many foods. They're extremely popular, but the problem is that they're very inflammatory. They go through this crazy process using either high heat or chemical solvents just to try and extract the oil from these plants or seeds. And in the process, it transforms the oil into something else, not what it was in its natural state. And then that leads to free radicals being formed, which is what causes the inflammation, which we know is really bad for the body. And then in addition to that, that change can also cause the oils to more easily get rancid. So a lot of times those oils that you're consuming are actually rancid, but we don't know it. It's pretty gross. So what to have instead? Oftentimes you'll see expeller pressed versions of those oils, and that's a little bit better because it's not as processed as just, the regular version. But the ideal options that you want to have are coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, and even butter or ghee. Those are all better options for you. They're healthier options. That's what I always try to look out for whenever I'm buying foods, and those are also the oils that I use for cooking at home. The next thing you want to avoid are fake sugars, like artificial sweeteners. So you may have seen ones like aspartame, sucralose, Sweet and Low, Splenda, NutraSweet. All of those are artificial sweeteners, and they're found in a lot of sugar-free drinks and foods, and they're something that I highly recommend you avoiding. A lot of times people think that they're doing themselves a service by having something like that instead of sugar, because we've been told that sugar is really bad for us. But having these fake sugars is actually worse than just having regular sugar. And that is because they are completely man-made. They're just chemicals made in a lab. And because it's not really food, it's very difficult for the body to absorb and metabolize in the same way that we would regular sugar or even other foods. So it kind of messes with your system. And studies have shown that having these chemicals can lead to obesity, diabetes, high blood pressure, and even certain cancers. So it's not something that you want to consume, and it really doesn't taste good in my opinion. Another thing I want to quickly mention is sugar alcohols. That's another sweetener that's more naturally occurring, and they were told to be safe, but studies are coming out now that's showing that things like erythritol are actually harmful. So I'm starting to be a little bit leery of those myself. I'm gonna look more into it, but just wanted to highlight that as well, because those are also sometimes used as sugar replacement. But I think the best thing to do is go natural. So some better alternatives are things like maple syrup, honey, coconut sugar, stevia can be good. I know sugar is really demonized right now, and we do want to avoid it because as a whole we have way too much sugar in our diet as Americans. But sugar is not evil, we just have to have it in moderation. And some things that can help with balancing blood sugar is having sugar or carbs with protein, healthy fats, and fibers. That's going to help level it out so you won't have those blood sugar spiking effects that come with sugar. The next ingredient that you should try to avoid is preservatives. These are the things that they put in food to make it last longer. When you cook something at home, it doesn't last forever like it does at the store, and that's because they're putting in these preservatives to keep it from getting moldy and bad while they wait for you to buy it. So it's kind of impossible to avoid all preservatives 100% of the time unless you're buying no packaged or processed foods. But some are worse than others, and I'm going to highlight those now. Sodium nitrite and nitrate. Those preservatives are found in processed meat, so like deli meat, hot dogs, bacon, that sort of thing. And those preservatives are actually known carcinogens, meaning that they can cause cancer. So that's definitely something that we want to avoid. Another preservative to look out for and avoid is BHA and BHT. And those are going to be found in a lot of processed and packaged foods. And they have also been found to cause cancer in humans. Another is potassium bromate, which is a really common preservative used in bread and flour. And the crazy thing about that one is it's actually banned in the EU, Canada, and other countries around the world. It's been shown to cause cancer and also is an endocrine disruptor, meaning that it messes with your hormones. And the last big one to avoid is maltodextrin. This is a preservative and also a food thickener. It's in lots of stuff. You'll see it. It's in so many different foods. And it has been shown to compromise gut health, spike blood sugar, which can lead to so many other health issues down the line. The next ingredient to avoid is artificial food colorings and dyes. So on an ingredient list, you might see red number 4 or yellow number 40. Those are food colorings, and they're basically added to things to make them look really nice, vibrantly colored. They're in a lot of juices, candies, a lot of things. You'd be surprised. But they are linked to cancer, cellular damage, and have even been shown to cause ADD and ADHD in kids. And within that same category, caramel coloring is another one that you want to avoid. And this is something that they put in to make things look brown. So it's used in a lot of sodas like Coke. It's used in broths. That is another carcinogen, and it's been shown to raise blood pressure as well. It's like, why do we need things to be a different color than what they are? If it's not really brown, then why do we need it to look brown? I'm okay with just having things be the color that they really are, but that's just me. The next thing you want to avoid is MSG. And you might also see it listed as yeast extract, and it has a few other names too. MSG is a chemically made flavor enhancer. You'll find it in lots of snack foods, condiments, many other things. And the point of it is basically to make things taste really good. It tricks the brain to get really excited when you're eating it and then crave it, and it becomes addictive. So it's not surprising that it contributes to weight gain and obesity, and also potentially metabolic disorders as well. And on a little bit of a lower level, it's also been shown to cause fatigue and headaches. So definitely something to look out for. And that was 5, but I have one more bonus one, and that is natural flavors, which is so misleading because it sounds like it would be good, natural flavors, but in actuality, it's not much different from artificial flavors, which we know are bad, and a lot of companies have stopped using those. Natural flavors start with something natural, like for example, vanilla, but then they can add up to 100 different synthetic chemicals to it to make it taste better. So it's basically just a fancy artificial flavor. I'm gonna leave a link to a video that I watched about it, so if you want to learn more about that, check that out. It'll be in the description. So those are some of the major food ingredients that I try to avoid when I go grocery shopping, and I recommend you do the same. What's made it easier is buying more fresh foods from the perimeter of the supermarket and less processed foods from the middle aisles. And when I do buy packaged foods, I look for the ones with the least amount of ingredients. If it has a long laundry list of ingredients, I already know it's gonna have preservatives and additives that I just don't want to be consuming. I hope you learned some helpful tips, and I challenge you to go into your pantry and take a look at the ingredients on some of the foods that you have in there. Not saying to dump everything out, but just so you know, it's good to be informed, you know? Luckily, there's so many foods on the market now, and more coming out each day made with healthier ingredients, so you don't necessarily have to give up your favorite foods. Like this video if you enjoyed it and learned some new things, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I will see you in the next video.